I watch as Ryan walks into the room, the familiar hum of chatter and laughter floating around me, but my attention is entirely fixed on him. His broad shoulders stand out among the crowd, and for a moment he looks calm, almost content, like he belongs here with all these people who are oblivious to the storm brewing inside of him. But I can see it in his eyes, the quiet restlessness. There's something unresolved there, a tension that lingers like a shadow. I've known Ryan long enough to read him. We've shared enough glances, enough moments, for me to recognize the way his eyes soften when they land on me. It's never been said aloud, but everyone knows. The way he looks at me, how his words seem to linger a little longer when he speaks to me, and the way he holds his gaze, longer than necessary, says it all. We've danced around it for years, friends, family. Everyone's noticed, but we've never had the courage to acknowledge it, not fully. Maybe we don't need to. Or maybe I've convinced myself we don't. Laughter bursts from the group near the bar, a couple of glasses clinking, and then her voice cuts through the noise unexpectedly. My mother. Ryan, she says, turning her gaze toward him with that knowing smile she wears when she's about to make things awkward. Do you want to marry Lily? The room falls silent, like completely silent. I swear you could hear a pin drop. Every head turns, some with curious amusement, others with genuine surprise. The weight of the question hangs in the air, thick and suffocating. My pulse spikes. I see Ryan's face stiffen, and for a split second I think he might laugh it off, say something flippant to ease the tension. But nothing comes. Just his eyes flicker to me, then to the ground, like he's searching for the right words, but they don't come. The seconds stretch on. I can feel the eyes of everyone on us, waiting for him to speak. It's too much. My skin prickles. I want to look away, but I can't. Then I see it. The panic in Ryan's eyes. It's quick, like a flicker of light before it fades into something darker. His mouth moves. His lips part to say something, anything, but I already know. Before the words leave his lips, my chest tightens in anticipation. No! His voice is sharp, cutting through the silence like a blade. It's like the world tilts and everything goes still. The gasps around the room feel like they're coming from miles away. My heart sinks, drops into a place I didn't know existed. His rejection rings in my ears, deafening. The word no bounces off the walls. And suddenly, I can't breathe. I look at him, searching for something, anything, to undo what just happened, but there's nothing there. His eyes aren't filled with regret or sorrow or even anger. They're just empty. I feel the burn in my chest, the sting of humiliation, and then the cold, creeping realization that he's just said the one thing I never thought I'd hear from him. No, I whisper to myself, as if saying it aloud will make it hurt less. I don't know why, but I stand up. It's like my legs are moving without my permission. My hands are shaking, my mind a blur of confusion and pain. I don't look back. I can't, not now. I don't care if they all stare at me. I don't care if Ryan is still watching me leave. I can't stay in this room in this moment, not after that. I step out into the hallway, my breath coming in shallow, ragged bursts. I lean against the wall, eyes closed, fighting the wave of tears that threaten to overtake me. My chest aches. My mind races. Why? Why would he say no? He said he loved me. Right? He always did. At least I thought he did. My phone vibrates in my pocket, but I don't look. I can't. The buzzing doesn't matter. Nothing does. Except for that one word, no. And in that one simple word, everything has shifted. I can't stop replaying that moment. The words no echo in my head like a constant stabbing reminder. I thought I was prepared for the question, but when it came, I wasn't ready. The shock on Lily's face, the way her expression crumbled, those images haunt me. Every time I close my eyes, I see her walking away, her back turned, no words exchanged, just silence. I didn't know how to fix it. How could I? What was there to fix when I had already ruined everything? The gasps from the room, the way the whole atmosphere shifted, will never leave me. I thought they were all just looking at me with pity, but it felt worse than that. I felt like an outsider in my own life, as though something irreversible had just happened. Word spread quickly. I should have expected it. Gossip is a cruel thing, especially in a tight-knit group like ours. Friends, family, even coworkers began treating me differently. Some were polite, but I could see the judgment in their eyes. Others just pitied me, as if I were a broken thing that needed fixing. The whispers behind my back only made the pain worse. I couldn't escape it. Then Mia found me, Lily's best friend. I wasn't ready for this conversation, but somehow I knew it was coming. She didn't waste time on pleasantries. "She cared about you, Ryan," Mia snapped, her voice sharp with anger. "Maybe she was waiting for you to finally step up, but you humiliated her instead." I could feel the weight of her words, the anger in her eyes, and I couldn't argue with her. She was right. I had humiliated her. My heart twisted with guilt, and the regret felt like a crushing weight pressing me down. I didn't know what to say. I had never really thought about it, about how Lily might have felt. I mean, I knew she cared about me, but what if she cared more than I realized? What if she'd been waiting for me, hoping I'd finally say what I'd never been able to say? My throat tightened, and I couldn't swallow the bitter truth. What if I just let the one person I loved slip through my fingers without even knowing it? The days dragged on, and I found myself remembering things I'd long buried, like how Lily and I grew up together. She was always there, bold, fearless, taking chances while I hesitated, afraid of ruining what we had. I used to think we were just friends, nothing more, nothing less. But now, I wondered if I was wrong. She always turned to me for advice, always wanted to know my thoughts before making big decisions. I didn't think much of it back then. I thought I was just someone she trusted. But now, with the benefit of hindsight, I wonder if that trust meant something more. I remember the way she'd look at me sometimes, those quiet, lingering glances that seemed to say more than words ever. And those moments when she joked about us ending up together, I laughed it off then, thinking it was just a joke. But now I wonder if it was more than that. Was she hinting at something I couldn't see? Or maybe she was giving me the space to make a move. A move I was too afraid to take. There was that night, too. That night when everything felt electric between us. She was looking at me, waiting, expectant, and I felt something shift in the air, but I ignored it. I was too afraid to take the risk. I convinced myself it was nothing. Now looking back, I wonder if that was the moment she gave up waiting for me to make a decision. Every memory feels like a clue I missed, like I failed to see something right in front of me, and now it's too late. The regret is unbearable. I should have been braver. I should have said something, but I didn't, and now I might have lost her forever. Then it happened. I overheard someone at work mention Lily spending time with another guy. His name was Daniel. I didn't think much of it at first, but then the name kept coming up, and with every mention, a knot twisted in my stomach. Who was this Daniel? Why was Lily spending time with him? I learned about him piece by piece. Daniel was everything I thought I wasn't. Charismatic, successful, confident, all the things I struggled to be, but worse, he made Lily smile in a way I'd never seen before. A real, carefree smile. The kind of smile I'd never been able to make her wear. The jealousy twisted inside me, raw and bitter. I couldn't shake the thought that maybe she was happy with him. Maybe he was everything I wasn't. And she was seeing him, maybe even falling for him. The thought of losing her to someone else cut deeper than I expected, so I decided I had to act. I had to tell Lily how I felt, even if it was too late. But what if it was too late? What if she had already moved on? I finally saw them, together, Lily and Daniel. My worst fear realized before my eyes. They were sitting at a cafe, talking quietly, their body language easy and natural. Lily's eyes sparkled as she laughed at something Daniel said. I couldn't tear my eyes away. It was like seeing everything I was too late to see. She looked at him with warmth, with ease, just like she used to look at me. My heart stopped. That look, that familiarity, it shattered me. This wasn't just friendship. It wasn't just a causal connection. This was something real, and I realized with a sickening feeling in the pit of my stomach that I might never be the one to make her smile that way again. I could feel my heart pounding as I walked toward her. Each step felt heavier than the last, as if the weight of everything I'd failed to say was pressing down on me. I had rehearsed this moment 1,000 times in my head, but now that I was here, the words refused to come. Doubt crept in. Was it even worth it? Could I fix this? Could I fix us? The tension in the air felt suffocating. Every part of me screamed to turn back, but I couldn't. I had to say something. I owed her that much. The silence between us had stretched on for too long. I couldn't let it be the final chapter of our story. When I reached her, she didn't even look at me at first. Her eyes were fixed on something in the distance. I could tell she was trying to keep her composure, but I knew better than anyone. Lily wore her heart on her sleeve. Her silence spoke louder than words ever could. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. She finally turned her gaze to me, and for the briefest moment, I saw the person I had always known. But there was something different, something colder, something distant. What do you want, Ryan? Her voice was steady, but I could hear the crack beneath it, the vulnerability she was trying so hard to hide. I couldn't breathe. I had no idea how to start, but I had to. I had to get this out or I would regret it for the rest of my life. I'm sorry. The words felt inadequate. I should have said something sooner. I should have told you how I felt, but I was scared. I was scared of losing you. I was scared of everything, scared that if I told you the truth, it would ruin what we had. She didn't say anything. Her face remained unreadable, like a mask she wore to shield herself from the storm inside. But I could see it, the way her hands clenched, the slight tremor in her jaw. She was hurt, and it was my fault. I love you, Lily. The words came out in a rush, spilling from me as if they had been trapped for far too long. I've always loved you. I just never had the courage to say it. And now I'm terrified that I've lost you. Her eyes flickered with something, maybe disbelief, maybe hurt. But she didn't say a word. I took a shaky step forward, desperate right now. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't even know if I deserve forgiveness. But I need you to know that I never wanted to hurt you. I've spent so long running from this, from us, and now I can't bear the thought of never having the chance to make it right. The silence stretched on, thicker than ever, until, finally, she spoke. You've had your chance, Ryan. Her voice was calm, but there was fire in her eyes now. You had your chance, and you let your fear make the decision for you. You never said a damn word, and now you want me to believe that you love me? Her words hit like a slap, each one laced with bitterness. The anger in her voice was so raw it cut through me like a knife. But beneath that anger was pain. Deep, unrelenting pain. She had loved me too, and I had turned away when she needed me the most. You chose not to love me. You chose to stay in your own head, to push me away, and now you expect me to just forget all of that? Her voice trembled, and I saw the tears threatening to spill from her eyes, but she fought them back, forcing herself to be strong. Do you have any idea what that felt like? To wait, to wonder if you'd ever see me the way I saw you? I opened my mouth to respond, but the words caught in my throat. I couldn't fix this. I couldn't undo the hurt I had caused. And the worst part, I couldn't even be sure that she still wanted me. She shook her head, stepping back from me. You should have said something when I needed you to. But now, I don't know if I can trust you anymore. She turned to walk away, and my heart cracked wide open. I couldn't let her go, not like this. Not after everything. Lily, wait. The words tumbled out of my mouth before I even knew what I was saying. Do you remember that night? That night at the lake, when we stayed up talking for hours? She froze, her back still to me. Do you remember what you said? I continued, my voice shaking. You said that if I ever needed to talk, you'd be there? That if I ever wanted something more, you'd wait for me? Lily turned slowly, her face pale. I remember. Her voice was barely a whisper, but it felt like the weight of the world had settled between us. But I waited, Ryan. And I waited, and I waited. Until I couldn't anymore. I stepped closer, desperate. But I was waiting too, Lily. I was afraid. Afraid that if I told you the truth, it would ruin everything we had. And now I'm afraid I've ruined everything anyway. The silence that followed felt suffocating. For a moment, neither of us moved. Then she spoke again, her voice quiet but filled with the finality of everything that had come before. I don't know if I can do this anymore, Ryan. She paused, her eyes meeting mine for the first time in what felt like forever. I need to know that you're not just saying this because you're afraid of losing me. I need to know that you want this, that you're ready to fight for us. but I can't keep waiting for you to figure it out. I wanted to reach out, to grab her and never let go, but I could see it now. The truth lingering in her eyes, the trust I had broken, the love I had failed to protect. "Do you love me?" she asked, her voice trembling. I looked at her, feeling the weight of my decision. I couldn't promise her anything more than the truth. "I do," I said softly, "but I know I hurt you. I know I have no right to ask you for anything, but if you can find it in your heart to give me one more chance, I swear I won't let you down again." Her eyes searched mine for a moment, as if trying to find the answer she needed, but there was no easy choice, no perfect answer, and in that moment, I realized that it wasn't up to me anymore. It was up to her. The silence stretched on, and I waited, holding my breath. Would she walk away, or would she finally take the chance we never gave ourselves before? I stood there, staring at Lily, unable to move. The weight of everything that had happened pressed down on me, suffocating me, the betrayal, the lies. I could see it all in her eyes, the disappointment, the hurt, the disbelief. It wasn't just that I had failed her, I had failed us. I had taken the one thing that was pure between us and shattered it, all because I was too damn scared to speak the truth when it mattered most. "Do you even understand what you've done, Ryan?" Her voice was steady, but there was a tremble in it that made my heart break. I wanted to hold her, to apologize, to fix everything, but I knew it was too late for all of that. The damage had already been done. My chest ached. I could feel the weight of her words sinking in, each one a hammer blow to what little was left of my pride. I had been a fool. Worse, I had been a coward. I didn't know what I was doing, I muttered, more to myself than to her. I thought I could handle it. I thought I could push it all aside and just move on. But it wasn't just the relationship that I ruined, Lily. It was us. It was you and me. And I didn't even realize it until it was too late. She didn't look at me. Her eyes were focused on the floor, her arms crossed tightly against her chest, as if she was trying to protect herself from the pain. I could see her fighting it, fighting the urge to cry, to show me just how badly I had hurt her. But she wouldn't let me see that part of her. Not anymore. "I don't know if I can forgive you," she said softly. But the weight of her words was enough to send a chill down my spine. "I want to, God, I really do, but can I? Can I forgive you for this? Can I trust you again after everything you've done?" The question hung in the air, unanswered, and it echoed in my mind like a death sentence. Could love survive this? Could I make it right? Was it even worth trying? I couldn't blame her for the doubt in her voice. She had every right to question everything I'd ever said to her, every promise I had made and broken. I had betrayed her trust, and now I was asking her to trust me again. I didn't know how to fix it, but I had to try. "I know I don't deserve it," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "But I'll do anything, Lily. Anything. I'll spend the rest of my life showing you how much you mean to me. If you give me a chance, I swear I'll never make the same mistake again." She looked up at me, her eyes filled with so many emotions I couldn't even begin to read them all, but there was something there. Something soft. She was still listening, still considering, and that was all I needed. "You think you can just make it all better with a few words?" Her voice cracked. "Doesn't work like that, Ryan. It's not about promises anymore. It's about trust. And right now, that's the one thing you can't give me." My heart pounded. She was right. I couldn't fix this with words, but I had to try anyway. I had to show her that I was ready to fight for us, to fight for the love we once had. I don't know how to make it right, I said, taking a step closer. But I swear to you, Lily, I'm not running anymore. I'll stay. I'll fight for this. I'll do whatever it takes. I won't give up on you. Not now. Not ever. For a long moment, she just stood there, her eyes searching mine as if trying to find something to hold on to. Then, with a sigh, she stepped back. I need time, she whispered. I need time to think. I don't know if I can ever look at you the same way again. And just like that, I realized this was the moment. The one where everything I had been terrified of facing had come to a head. The consequences of my actions had caught up to me, and now it was up to her to choose whether we could rebuild what we had or if it was truly gone. Please, I said, desperate, please don't walk away. Not like this. But she was already turning, walking toward the door. And I knew, deep down, that there was nothing I could do to stop her. This was her decision now. She paused at the door, her back to me. You had your chance, Ryan, she said, her voice steady but tinged with pain. Now it's mine. The words hit me like a punch to the gut. She was leaving, and I had no one to blame but myself. I watched as she walked out the door, leaving me standing there with nothing but the weight of my mistakes and the haunting question that would stay with me for the rest of my life. Had I truly lost her for good?